Welcome to The Explainer. You know that little green owl that lives on your phone? Yep, we're talking about Duolingo. Today, we're cracking open a major financial report to see what it says about the company's future.
So here's the billion-dollar question, right? In this new age of AI, with things like ChatGPT popping up everywhere, is it about to make our favorite language learning owl totally obsolete?
Well, Wall Street is definitely trying to figure that out. And we got our hands on a really in-depth report from Citi Research that has a pretty surprising take on where Duolingo is headed. So let's dig in and see their reasoning. All right, first up, the Duolingo dilemma. Let's really unpack the central problem that's got a lot of investors on edge right now.
Okay, so on one side, you have this app that's become a total cultural phenomenon. I mean, millions of us are obsessed with keeping those daily streaks alive, right? But on the other side, there's this giant shadow looming that the Citi report points right at: the existential threat of generative AI.
So that leads to the main debate. Is this powerful new AI a competitor that's going to wipe Duolingo out? Or is it actually an ally, a tool that could make them stronger than ever?
And this, right here, is where it gets really interesting. A lot of investors see Gen AI and think, uh-oh, this is a Duolingo killer. But the analysis from Citi, it flips that idea completely on its head. They argue that AI isn't the threat. It's actually their secret weapon for growth.
So how are they doing that? Well, the report shows that Duolingo is already weaving Gen AI deep into its system. We're talking about creating brand new features, pumping out content way faster, and even expanding into subjects that have nothing to do with language.
And if you need proof, just look at this number: 4 times. By using generative AI, they quadrupled the amount of new course content they could create in just 1 year. I mean, that's not just an improvement. That's a total game changer. And get this story, this is amazing. They had 2 employees, neither of whom were engineers, use AI tools to build the company's fastest growing new subject, chess. It just goes to show you, AI isn't just some scary competitor out there, it's a massive force multiplier inside the company.
So we've established AI is a tool, not a threat. But Citi's argument goes way deeper. This isn't just about playing defense, it's about going on offense with a vision that goes far beyond just learning languages.
Of course, Duolingo's heart and soul is still language learning. As you can see, about half of the user base is focused on learning English. This is their bread and butter.
But here's where the strategy gets really ambitious. According to the report, they're pushing into totally new frontiers. Things like math, music, and chess. They're not just a language app anymore. They're trying to become a much broader learning platform. And what's wild is that even with all this expansion, they've barely scratched the surface of their main market. The report estimates there are something like 2 billion language learners out there globally. Duolingo has only reached about 6% of them. The runway for growth is just massive.
Okay, the growth story is there, the engagement is clearly there, but how do you actually make money from a mostly free app? Let's look at the business model.
It all comes down to that classic freemium model. You know how it works. The basic app is free, which gets millions of people in the door. Then they try to upgrade you to paid plans like Super or Max by offering perks like no ads and, this is key, powerful new AI-powered tools.
So, in the app world, there's this key metric that measures engagement. It sounds a little technical, but it's really just the ratio of your daily users to your monthly users. Basically, it shows how sticky your app is. Are people coming back every single day? And Duolingo's stickiness is kind of insane. You can see from the data in the report, it absolutely blows other learning apps out of the water. In fact, its engagement levels are getting into the same league as a top-tier social media app like Instagram. For an educational tool, that is just incredible.
And this is where it all comes together. That new Max subscription, the one powered by Gen AI, is the key. Features like having real-time video calls with AI characters are exactly what they need to convince more advanced learners, people who were harder to capture before, to finally open up their wallets.
Okay, so the growth story is compelling. The engagement is off the charts, but what does this all mean for the stock? What does Wall Street think it's all worth?
Well, despite all the market's fear about AI disruption, Citi's deep dive led them to a very confident conclusion. They initiated their coverage with a buy rating. And they know what you're probably thinking. The stock looks expensive. But they tackle that head on. Their argument is basically, yeah, the price might look high now, but if you factor in the long-term growth, we think it's actually a pretty attractive deal. They believe all this fear has created a buying opportunity. And that really brings us full circle. The entire thesis of this report is to flip the common narrative upside down. It takes what almost everyone else sees as Duolingo's biggest threat, generative AI, and reframes it as one of its greatest assets for future growth.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? As AI gets better and better at teaching us things, what really is the future of learning? Maybe Duolingo's story suggests the answer isn't just about getting information from a chatbot. Maybe it's about engagement, motivation, and, let's be honest, the simple fun of keeping that streak alive.